Introverts live in a world that was never designed for them. A world that rewards the loudest voices, the boldest entrances, and the people who can speak without hesitation. But for introverts, silence isn't emptiness, it's depth. Unfortunately, society doesn't see it that way. In classrooms, workplaces, or parties, the quiet ones are often invisible, their voices drowned by the noise around them. This is not shyness, it is simply a way of existing that conflicts with a society addicted to noise. The world never slows down for silence. The biggest challenge for introverts is that the world doesn't pause to make space for silence. Meetings move quickly, conversations overlap, and social interactions reward the fast talkers. If you need a moment to think before speaking, you're already forgotten. If your voice is softer, it is lost under the roar of others. This is exhausting because the value of words isn't measured by their meaning, but by their volume. For introverts, thoughts run deep, but by the time they're ready to share them, the moment has already passed. It feels like standing at the edge of a stage you never auditioned for, forced into a performance you never wanted to join. Living in your head while everyone else screams. Introverts don't just process the world differently, they live in their own heads.
Here's the harsh
Every
truth.
thought is analyzed,
Most
every
UFC
word
fighters
carefully
are
measured.
broke.
But when everyone else is
show
shouting
money
to be heard,
barely
the
covers
quiet
training
mind gets
expenses.
overlooked.
Fighters
While
pay
extroverts
coaches,
thrive in
gyms,
external chaos,
managers,
introverts
medical
retreat
bills,
into
and
inner worlds
taxes,
rich with
leaving
imagination,
scraps to survive
ideas,
on.
and reflections.
A loss can mean
Yet
half
society
their paycheck is
misinterprets
gone.
this.
And
Instead of seeing
sponsorships,
deep thinkers,
the UFC's
they see
strict
people who
rules
are
cut off
too
another
quiet
lifeline.
or
Fighters
antisocial.
who put their lives
And
on
so,
the line
the
often
inner
walk
life
away
that
with
sustains
less than what a
introverts becomes a
part-time worker
prison,
makes
rich
in a week.
inside, ignored outside.
The politics.
Every
In theory,
classroom
the
feels
best
like a
fighters
stage.
rise to the top.
From childhood,
In reality,
introverts are pushed
politics
into a
run the
mold they
cage.
never fit.
Fighters are often
In classrooms,
ghosted, benched,
teachers
or
reward the
overlooked
ones who
for
raise their hands
opportunities.
the fastest,
Marketability
not necessarily
sometimes
the ones
matters
with
more
the
than
deepest
merit.
answers.
Winning isn't always
Presentations
enough
feel
if you
like
don't talk
punishments.
trash,
Group
sell
work feels
tickets,
like
or fit the
survival,
brand's
and
narrative.
silence is treated as failure.
The cage is supposed to
The
be
classroom
fair,
becomes
but
a
behind
stage
the
where
scenes,
only
it's
performers
business
shine.
first,
But
sport
introverts
second.
were never trained for
The
performance.
pain. No
They were
fighter
trained for
leaves the sport
observation, for
unscarred.
listening, for
Broken
quiet
hands,
thinking.
shattered knees,
And yet, the
concussions,
grading system
torn
rarely
ligaments.
rewards that.
This is the
From
price
start,
of entry.
they're taught that their natural
Painkillers
state
become
isn't
part
good
of
enough.
daily survival.
The office
Fighters
is just
often
another
push through
stage.
training with
Adulthood
injuries that
doesn't
would
make
keep
it
regular
easier.
people bedridden.
Offices reward charisma
And when
more
the
than
body
competence.
gives out, there's
Extroverts
no
dominate
pension,
meetings,
no
get
retirement
noticed
plan,
by managers,
only the memory
and
of
climb
what
the
once
ladder.
was.
Not always because they're
forgotten.
better, but
Some
because they're
fighters
louder.
debut with hype,
Meanwhile,
but one or two
the
losses
introvert
later,
who quietly
they're forgotten.
delivers quality work
Others
often goes
spend years
unnoticed.
in obscurity,
It's not
fighting
that
on
introverts
prelims
lack
for
ambition
scraps,
or ideas.
never touching the main
They
card
simply
spotlight.
prefer their work to speak
The
for itself.
UFC machine
But in a
doesn't
corporate
wait.
world built
It
for
chews up and spits
presentations,
out fighters.
networking, and constant
Today's
visibility,
rising star could be
silence is
tomorrow's
mistaken for
forgotten name,
weakness.
buried in the endless
Promotions
roster
pass them
shuffle.
by, not because
The
of lack
obsession.
of ability,
For many,
but because the
fighting
system
becomes an
rewards
addiction.
performance over depth.
Even when the checks stop,
Parties feel
even
like
when
battlegrounds.
the injuries pile
For
up,
extroverts,
even when the
parties
phone
are
doesn't ring
playgrounds.
with another
For
contract
introverts,
offer,
they're
they
battlegrounds.
keep training,
Every
keep hoping,
conversation
keep
feels
waiting.
rehearsed. Every
Because
small
fighting
talk
isn't
exchanged
just
like a
career,
script you can't
it
memorize.
becomes identity.
The
And when the
noise,
dream
the crowd,
doesn't call back,
the pressure to
what's
perform
left?
socially,
A body
it all
destroyed,
drains energy.
a mind haunted,
It's not
and a
that
life
introverts
defined
dislike
by
people.
what if.
They crave meaningful
The reality
connection.
check.
But in a
The
world
UFC
obsessed with
sells
small talk
glory,
and
but
surface
most
level
fighters
interactions,
never touch it.
introverts are left
They
starving
chase
for
an
depth.
illusion, investing
when they
their
retreat
prime
to
years for a
recharge,
belt they'll
they're
never
accused of
hold and a
being
bonus
boring,
they'll never see.
cold, or
Behind
antisocial.
every champion,
Overlooked
there are
for
hundreds
jobs,
of forgotten
introverts
names
are
who
often
gave the same
invisible in the very
sacrifices but
moments
got
that
none
matter
of the
most.
rewards.
Job interviews
This is the
reward the
cruelest
confident
truth.
talker,
The
not
fight
the quiet
doesn't end
thinker.
in the cage.
Relationships
It
often go
follows
to
you
those who
home,
make the
into
boldest
your bank
first move,
account,
not
your
the ones who
relationships,
notice the
your body,
smallest,
your
most
mind.
meaningful details.
Conclusion.
Recognition often
Being
skips
a
over the silent
UFC
achiever
fighter
because they
isn't
don't
about
shout their
glory,
accomplishments.
It's about obsession.
The tragedy
An
is that
obsession
introverts are
consumes
not
your
less
body,
capable.
mind,
They're
and
simply
soul.
less performative.
It's a life lived on
Their
borrowed
skills
time,
are real,
where every
their
fight could be
contribution
your
is
last,
valuable,
and every
but in a society
sacrifice
that
might mean
confuses
nothing.
confidence with competence,
For a few,
they remain
the
unseen.
dream becomes reality.
Solitude
For
isn't
the rest,
weakness.
it's
For
just
introverts,
scars,
solitude
silence,
isn't
and survival.
loneliness, it's survival.
If you've ever
it's the
wondered
only
why it
space
sucks
where they
being
can
a
recharge,
UFC fighter,
reconnect with
here's your
themselves,
answer.
and
Because
breathe without the
sacrifice
constant
doesn't
weight of
guarantee survival.
expectations.
And for
But
most
society
warriors,
treats
the
solitude
cage
as
isn't a
weakness,
stage of
as if the
triumph.
desire
It's
to
a
be
place
alone
where
means
dreams
something
go
is
to
broken.
die.
Yet in those quiet moments, introverts do their best thinking. Great inventions, literature, and art have often come from solitude. But instead of celebrating this, society shames it, forcing introverts to wear masks of sociability until they collapse from exhaustion. This isn't shyness. The biggest misconception is that introversion equals shyness. But introverts aren't necessarily afraid of people, they simply prefer depth over noise. They can socialize, they can lead, they can perform, but it drains them, and they need to recharge afterward. Shyness is fear, introversion is preference, and yet, society refuses to see the difference, constantly pushing introverts into situations that feel unnatural, then criticizing them for not thriving in them. A constant war between self and society. At its core, being an introvert in an extroverted world feels like a war. A war between who you are and what society demands. A war between silence and noise, between depth and performance, between inner truth and outer expectation. In the hardest part, you're told you need to change. You're told you need to speak up more, be more social, come out of your shell. But no one tells extroverts to slow down, to listen more, or to embrace silence. The burden of adaptation always falls on the quiet ones. Conclusion: being an introvert isn't weakness. It isn't failure. It's simply existing in a world that wasn't designed with you in mind. The challenge is survival, finding ways to protect your inner world while navigating an outer world that doesn't value it. The truth is, introverts don't need the spotlight. They don't need the applause. What they need is understanding, that silence is not emptiness, solitude is not weakness, and quiet does not mean lesser. Because at the end of the day, the loudest voices may dominate the room, but it is often the quietest minds that shape the world.